when we started this with 20 some odd teams. Now we have thousands and thousands all around the world.
First has given me the opportunity to become better and better and to never stop dreaming.
It is way more than a club. It teaches you the skills of life.
It's technology, respect, teamwork. It is more than robots.
Jason, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for talking about More Than Robots on Disney Plus. Man, I wish I was smart enough to be in something like this when I was a kid. You know, I'm a nerd, but I'm not a practical nerd, if that makes sense, right?
My answer would be like I agree, and me too. Like I didn't even know that this existed. So like it's one of those things I feel like we would have naturally fallen into place, right?
Absolutely. 4 teams of teenagers from around the world for the first robotics competition. LA, Mexico City, Chiba, Japan. This is an international affair, isn't it?
It very much so is, but it follows the kind of like global scale of first in general. So you only get like this like. It feels big. Well, it's still not even encompassing the whole of it.
And these kids have to figure it out on their own, which I found was so impressive. No manuals, and they have no time at all. What, just 6 weeks to figure it out?
Yeah. So, I mean, I look at it and go, it's a big task. And to these kids, apparently, this is just the norm. So, I mean, it takes us 6 weeks just to figure out how to film anything in general. And they're building robots for a competition.
I was going to say, because I've only seen robots battle each other, battle bots. Here,
exactly.
They're trying to create something, I guess, that's applied to science and all that and figure out what their function is going to be and all that. And working together as a team, which I found is so fascinating because there's got to be egos within these teams.
There oddly is not. That's the crazy thing. And I think the thing going into it, you have an anticipation of it being a sport, which naturally is like this driven competition. And the beauty of, I think, of what First has created, it is designed specifically almost with that in mind and kind of subverting that and pushing it into a different direction. And so the idea is that like, just by the nature of that, like you can gain more points and you can win in competition by helping others. It kind of puts the entire, like, what they call cooperation into play, that the kids all of a sudden think a different way. So it doesn't become this one-on-one, very heated competition where you have to like, take someone out and then a winner take all. It is very much built around this kind of like team building and community.
And when choosing the teams to cover for the documentary, were they eager to be included?
It's interesting because like the kids are so focused on what it is that they have at hand. Again, like they have 6 weeks and it is this all hands on deck kind of approach. So the mentors and First themselves were very eager and very much like saw the benefit of us kind of like coming in and putting a spotlight on them. But the kids, it's like when you watch the film, you ultimately see very rarely, unless the kids are being interviewed, do they even notice that the cameras are there. So they are like so laser focused on what it is that they need to do. I think it's interesting. They've seen the film now, and when it comes out, exclusively on Disney Plus on March 18th, like then the rest of the world will get a chance to see them. I think that's when it may sink into them.
I love in documentaries is about capturing the moment. Did you know when that happened in your film?
The moment, yes, but it was not anticipated. And if you'd asked us, obviously, before we started shooting what we thought that would be, and if you ask us, obviously, now, once you see the movie, obviously, the global pandemic of COVID obviously comes into play. And the moment definitely was when we all collectively as a world kind of basically shut down. And we were left with, a missing ending to the film. The moment was really when Gillian and I talking about, like, do we think we should continue making this? I don't know what there is left to do. But at the same time, also watching what the kids were doing themselves in their communities by the nature of posting things on social media, their mentors sharing, like, look what these kids are doing. I think that became the moment where we kind of like transcended the version that we originally made. And it's odd to say that there's something that like is a silver lining to COVID, but I guess the silver lining really is, at least for this film, it ultimately made, I think, for the more rewarding like story as opposed to what we initially would have planned to cover.
I love how one of the teammates said, it's technology, teamwork, respect. It's more than robots, and you must have went. There's our title, right?
Not only that, it's everything about that. It's like, it's the button to the like everything. And the thing is like, it's catchy, but it really is true. And so the thing you ultimately find is that, like, Dean does a really good job of actually explaining the fact that, you know, the kids are not there to build the robots are actually there to build the kids. It's a mechanism that allows kids to find their way into, you know, a community that is not the traditional community that you would envision of just being like sports, right? So there's a kind of a place for everybody, and the robot is the thing that allows that to happen.
Wow, More Than Robots streaming on Disney Plus. Jason, thanks so much for joining me today. Great documentary, and come visit us in Las Vegas soon. We'd love to have you.
We'd love that. Thanks so much.